What's up, dude?
What's up?
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
That's
Another
good.
episode.
It's true. We're getting somewhere. We're getting
Dude,
somewhere.
we're
with this.
freaking killing it. I was thinking about it earlier.
Yeah.
I was like, as many as we've been recording, like, not even just the past week, but just recently.
Yeah.
We've been doing a lot.
Honestly.
And I'm loving it.
Yeah.
It's going
It's
great.
a lot of fun. I love it.
Super cool. And today's topic, too, pop culture.
It's true.
It's going to be awesome. Speaking of, I don't know how much you consider yourself in the realm of nerd, is what I normally call it.
Not really nerd.
Well, that's the thing, is that it depends on our definition of it, because there's something you geek out about, right?
Yeah.
What do you geek out about?
It used to be a band, honestly. Like
A band?
A band, yeah. I would like fanboy over this band called For Today. It's
For Today?
For Today, yeah. It's kind of a screamo metal band.
Cool. Okay.
Christian genre, but
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh, you've never
That's
heard
a
of
cool. No, I've never heard of them.
Really?
But I like. Speaking of that, I like the combination of like a Christian type of rock band, because you get you have that image, right?
Yeah.
Of what, like a Christian rock. Okay, yeah. There's like singing a bunch of prayers.
Yeah.
What you would think,
Yeah.
but then you say it's like a screamo metal.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't mash together correctly, but
Yeah, and it's,
bet it's cool.
Crazy. Yeah, it's crazy to see because like I've been to like 3 of their concerts, and every one like they push like the audience to like, all right, get in this pit, let's go. And, like
do pits too?
Oh yeah, mosh pits and everything, man. I mean,
Whoa.
they didn't really encourage them, of course, like especially security. Like they were really lame, so they were like, hey, none of that, none of that.
Well, it
But,
makes sense because
yeah,
I mean, I bet the venue is like. Are they like normal venues, like normal metal bands go to?
yeah, oh yeah. Like
Really?
you'll have like secular bands that play with them too. So I mean, they kind of like get their message out. Like,
Okay,
Kinda
well that
like
makes
that.
sense because Skillet.
yeah,
Whenever I think of a Christian
band, yeah.
that's the only one I really can even
Yeah,
name.
honestly, yeah.
Honestly,
I mean that is.
but that would make sense because we seen them. Skillet played with a
Oh,
couple bands
man.
we went with before.
I used to fanboy over them too.
Over Skillet?
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like the song Monster.
I actually did not like that song.
I liked it because I think that was one of the only ones I knew.
That's true, and
The music video was cool.
I think it was because they really put it out there, and they started putting in Super Bowl commercials and everything. I'm just like, I'm tired of the song already.
Overused,
Kinda
overplayed?
overused. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, that's cool though. I would have never, first off, called you for a Christian band.
Really?
Like, fanboy.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah, I get it. You could listen to it, but a fanboy? Wow, that's cool.
Oh yeah. I have CDs, shirts. I don't think a jacket. But
I'll have to look into them.
Oh yeah,
They're pretty cool.
They actually disbanded like 2 years ago, and I missed their final concert. And they were actually in Texas when, like, literally the weekend that I moved up here to Colorado.
The same weekend?
Pretty close to it. Yeah, it sucked, and I was like, and my sister-in-law went to go, and she was like posting videos on Snapchat.
Oh,
and
that
like, oh,
sucks.
you're just rubbing it in now.
Damn, that's cool. Well, but their music is still out there regardless of them being disbanded, so I want to check that out for sure.
Super good band. Like, yeah, something to get down with.
That's cool. That's awesome. So, see, that's something you like to geek out about, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
definitely consider music part of not just pop culture, but just culture in general, because that's a big influence on a lot of different aspects of just everyday life, really,
Yeah.
in general. Jeez, I used to religiously follow Avenged Sevenfold.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I knew a lot of friends in high school that, like Avenged Sevenfold this, Avenged Sevenfold that,
Yeah.
and it's just like,
Loved it. And that and my
Yeah.
girlfriend too. She loved them. That was one of the first big concerts we'd ever been to. We actually went to the same exact concert, but not together.
oh really?
Yeah, it's super funny,
How
right?
did that work?
So they were playing at the World Arena. I guess it's called the Broadmoor World Arena now in Colorado Springs.
Okay.
They were playing there, and me and my best friend, Brandon, me, him, and one of our other mutual friends went, and we got like pit tickets, like floor general admission.
Gotcha.
We were so close to her, like 6 or 7 rows out.
Dude.
It was awesome. Found out she was there too, and we were at the
Really?
same freaking concert.
Dude.
It was
Okay,
awesome.
So speaking of like concerts and whatnot, I used to be super short, like tiny. I don't know what happened in high school, but I grew. But I used to be so
height-wise.
tiny. Yeah,
I thought it was short, like
my
short fuse.
gosh. No, yeah, I was getting mad about everything. No, so I would actually have a friend with me, and we would go to a lot of concerts together. And I want to say it was like a Skillet related kind of concert. I think they were playing that. Anyways, so bands before or whatever, people try to stay in the front just to have that spot.
Oh, yeah,
so
totally.
they were there all day.
Yeah, they would never move.
Yeah,
I've been those people.
Yeah. And so me and our group were in the back, and we're just like, when we get up there for the next band, it's like, sure, yeah. So me and a friend of mine would get up, and I would start telling people, I can't see. Can I move in front of you? And like my friend would do that with me. So I'm sorry, my little brother. He would, oh my God, he would push it. He said, my little brother, he can't see, and we would just want to get a good view. Do you mind if we get in front of you? We did that from the front to the back, or to the back to the front. I got second row doing that during one band's set. It was amazing. I hated being short, but for that reason,
It only came in handy when you needed it.
yeah,
Like concerts.
I used advantage.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That reminds me of a funny story. Which concert was it? God, I can't remember what concert it was, but I think it was one of the Avenged Sevenfold ones. But we were on the floor. We were like third or fourth row, maybe. Yeah, this was Avenged Sevenfold at the Fillmore. I think it was Taste of Chaos tour.
Okay, yeah.
I think we were telling you about this before.
Yeah.
And we were like third row from the stage. It was awesome. That was my first rock concert. It was awesome. The lineup was amazing. They had 7 bands on that damn list. Like, it was big. This big dude, completely opposite of you. Huge, tall, like had to be like 6'12".
Jesus. So 7 foot?
No, 6'12".
Oh my God.
But he's just a big dude in general, right? He starts pushing towards the front, and guess what he starts yelling out? I got a fart. Like,
No
everyone's
way.
Like, no.
That's a
So he
clear.
starts moving out of the way, and he just walks all the way forward. I'm sure he had people behind him. He's trying to get up there, but that was like the best excuse.
Oh yeah, I got a fart. that might be my next move,
Dude.
honestly.
Well, I mean, you're not short anymore, so
Yeah, I mean,
I think
I think that's the
average
next-
now, I guess.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 I was at work today, come to think of it. My boss is pretty tall,
Mm-hmm.
skinny dude. And one of the other team leaders in bakery, she's also really tall and super slender.
Yeah.
Right? So it was like him and then me and then her, like right behind me. And I was like, man, I am the shortest person in the room right now.
Oh my God.
It was awful. It was so funny, though. That just made me think of that. God, yeah, that guy was so funny. He's like, I got a fart. Everyone booked it. Like, nope, we're out of the way. It was awesome. But that's what I'm getting at, though, is that the bands and concerts, like, you've nerded out before. You have
Oh yeah.
you have nerd moments,
Oh,
geek
yeah.
moments.
Oh, yeah.
They might not be the same necessarily as everybody else,
Yeah.
or even anybody's definition like mine. I like to include like everything: music, videos, the internet, memes,
Yeah.
for example.
Memes.
For all you sophisticated type.
You're right. Yeah.
But like games, superheroes. I
Yeah.
mean, we're here at Game Store right now,
Honestly, yeah.
right? And all
Yeah.
just like 4 different tournaments going on right
Yeah,
now. It's
honestly.
awesome.
Yeah.
I used to partake
really
in
cool.
those so much too, like religiously.
Dang.
So, part of pop culture, which is funny, the influence that shows have on us, and then game versions of those shows come out, and
Oh,
we
yeah.
want to play it.
Oh, yeah.
For example, I used to be huge in the Dragon Ball card game.
Mm-hmm.
I played it back in the day, the first version of it, which was done by, that wasn't Panini, that was Score. They make usually like sports cards.
Okay, yeah.
They made Dragon Ball. That was like the first Dragon Ball card game, like official one, right?
Yeah.
And believe it or not, me and Brandon actually played it when we were real young when it came out. We didn't know how to play super well, but there was a couple different game stores back in our hometown that would throw tournaments. And we're like, let's go and do it. And I remember I got in trouble with my mom, so I got grounded and wasn't allowed to
gosh.
go. Brandon still went with his sister, I believe. And they separated the tournaments by age class. So we were like the younger class, and then there's the older people that played it. He ended up winning first place because I believe it was only him and his sister. But regardless, he still won first place.
Yeah.
And he was even in the newspaper and everything about it
Say
in
what?
our hometown.
No way.
Yes.
Newspaper.
I'm sure he still has it too.
That's great.
But yeah, it was awesome. He won like a bunch of cool stuff because in that game, like you would like in Dragon Ball, even they power up and stuff like that. You
Yeah.
have a certain. It's called anger. Once you gain 6, you can
Yeah, yeah.
power up to your next
Oh,
level.
yeah.
You used to have this little sword. You used to slide and keep track of it. It was
Okay.
anger sword. And he got a gold one for winning that tournament.
Dang.
It was super, super cool.
Dang. That's
and
crazy.
I was super sad and jealous. I was like, oh, I wanted to go to that.
Of course, you got to be grounded.
Oh, yeah. I don't even remember what I did.
You got to think about that.
It was probably something dumb. I was so young anyway. But it was just funny. But then it died. The game died. And then many, many, many years later, it came back underneath the company Panini, which also makes sports cards.
That's kind of weird. But
Right, yeah. I don't
right.
know why sports companies kept picking up like Dragon Ball card game, trying to do this like collectible card game, right?
I mean,
And so Panini picked it up, and we're like, oh my god. And Brandon's the first one told me, he's like, did you know that game is back? I was like, no. And so I was already living up here by that time, so I was like, if I can find that game anywhere, it'll be up here. So I called every single store that I knew carried games. Nobody had it except this one tiny little store called Trade Smart. Have you ever heard of Trade Smart? You ever heard of Hastings?
Oh yeah. Hastings. Are they still open?
No.
I didn't think so.
At least this area, this region.
Because I know
They
like
closed down a long time ago.
Yeah, one store in my hometown they shut down, and it was a
We
devastation.
used to have one in my hometown too. But Trade Smart was similar to like a Hastings. It was kind of had everything, and an ex of mine introduced me to Trade Smart.
Okay.
I was out to dinner with her and her family. Like, you ever been to Trade Smart? I was like, no. I was like, it's down the street. We'll go after.
Dang.
We were there for like 2 hours.
Wow.
You walk in, and it was like toys and books and movies and like records and CDs.
Yeah.
And then it was just like comics galore.
Dang.
And then it was like all kinds of other pop culture nerd stuff. It was awesome. And then they even had like an upstairs where people would go and play card games, like similar like this.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
So that was super cool. But I'm losing my train of thought. At Trade Smart though, that's where I found the card game. When it first came out, it was like one starter deck, and it was crap. It was crap
Yeah, I
because
imagine.
the way Panini did it was, and I can't even remember how the starter decks used to go and score. I mean, for all I know, it could have been the same. But the way they did it was that it was just it was a sealed box with a 60 card deck,
Dang.
right? And it's called the main personality, main character.
Yeah.
All 4 levels, 1 through 4.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, cool. But the deck wasn't tournament legal. So the way the game worked is you needed to have you had this thing called a mastery, which is what your deck was based around. So like similar in Magic that you like I run a blue deck or a black deck or a mixed, right?
Yeah.
In Dragon Ball, you can only run cards that were neutral, so gray. They're called freestyle.
Okay.
Or mastery. So if your mastery was blue, you can only run blue and gray cards.
Huh.
If it was Saiyan, you can only run Saiyan and gray cards. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So there's a couple of rules on it, but the starter deck had a mix. It was mixed of all of them.
Huh.
So it wasn't even tournament legal.
That's crazy.
So you're like, wait a second. So someone can't come in and pick up a starter deck and then just play a
go to-
tournament to
yeah.
learn. No. They got a broken deck.
Dang.
And then on top of that, the starter decks would come with foil versions of a couple cards that you had to buy multiple starter decks to get.
Of
Which
course,
okay,
yeah.
cool, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But you never knew which ones it was.
Yeah, it was always a surprise.
It was super random. So you didn't know what character you're getting. You didn't know what the deck was going to have in it. Like, dude, it was like the hardest thing to do. But it was cool when that game came back, and I played it a lot. I even played at this store quite a bit. And at that time, I lived like, 45 minutes away from this store.
Dedication, man.
Yeah.
Dedication.
But we played here. We played about 3 or 4 times a week.
Oh wow.
That was including the one I ran in my hometown.
You ran one.
Yeah.
Dang.
Because after I learned the game up here, made a bunch of friends, got real good at the game, then I started judging. And I became an official judge, and I ran a regional. So they ran two series of regional tournaments. So those are like the big ones. So you have like the locals, which is like you come to your local card shop and you play. And you kind of just try to beat your friends and that kind of stuff. New people join every now and then. Then you have like the bigger tournaments that are like a good like a bigger entry fee.
Yeah.
Better promos, that kind of stuff, and more people will usually show up.
Yeah.
Then you have like nationals or state, depending on the game. Like I went to a state for Pokemon before.
Oh yeah.
It was in Colorado Springs, and it was cool. It was interesting. Met a lot of people. But then you have the regionals, which are like the bigger ones, right? So for Dragon Ball, there's only 12 regionals in all of US. And you had to apply to the company to get one.
Okay.
So you had to apply. You had to have a brick and mortar store. You had to have like a solid player base of, I think it was like 10 plus a week. Solid 10 plus a week. We were having like 16.
Oh wow.
If I remember correctly. Like we had a really good tournament. Like the game was alive and well, especially here.
Huh.
And the guys up here, a lot of them would go down and play with us there too. But I remember I got regionals and they announced it, and the store owner knew like a week ahead of time, but he wasn't allowed to tell anybody.
Really?
I'm like, you hear any news? He's like, no, I haven't heard nothing yet. But he already knew.
Yeah, of course.
And he had like this weird smirk, and I never caught on to it, which was funny. But it was about, I don't know, 3 or 4 days. 3 or 4 days after that, and he's like, I don't know what I'm gonna have to do to run this regional. It's gonna be crazy. I was like, yeah, wait, what? He goes, oh yeah, I was told like 4 days ago, like, we got it. I was like, we got it? He's like, yeah. And I was like, oh my God. So I like told my buddies, like, oh, we got it. Cause like everyone was like hoping we'd get one in Colorado. And it was crazy. It was awesome. And so we got one. And I was like, oh my gosh. And we did all kinds of stuff. Like me and the store owner too were like, we went off and we went like asking hotels to like accommodate, because I went to a couple of the regionals. I went to Kansas and I went to Gen Con in Indianapolis to play.
Dang, dude.
It was awesome. I love that convention. I can't wait to go back to it. Talk about pop culture. Like conventions. Oh my God.
Convention, yeah. I got to go to the Denver Comic Con.
Oh, that's right. We went for our game.
Yeah, and that was honestly a lot of fun. That was actually my first Comic Con that I've ever been to.
That was your first convention?
First convention ever. Like,
dude, Comic-Con. And on top of that, you were working it.
Yeah, I know. It sucks. No, it's fine. Like I got to see like all the like costumes and everything.
Dude, it's like, a whole nother world.
It really is, man. It really is. And like even people like waiting outside and like on the streets too. They're just like repping it.
Just all over.
Dang, yeah.
Denver Comic Con. It's always been super fun. I've done it for, I think, since it started.
Dang.
I think I missed the very first one, but went after that forever, even to this day. But God, that is, talk about like the epitome of pop culture. Speaking of, they changed the name of it to Denver Pop Culture Con.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Not sure why, but I even saw a bunch of people, because I made a lot of friends that work there every single year, right?
Yeah.
And so I saw a chat that they were all on to, and it was just like, we're still calling it DCC, right? Or like, yeah, like it doesn't really matter what the name is. Like, we're still gonna go. It's still gonna be fun. Still gonna dress up. Like, it's crazy. It's awesome. And God, having you guys there.
Dude,
it was this last year, wasn't it?
Yeah. Back in June.
It was June. Yeah. Actually, you're right.
Yeah.
That was cool, because we got to debut our game.
Yeah.
Our third-person shooter.
It's true. It's very true.
Which is still in development. Oh my God.
It'll get there. It will get there.
It's gonna get there. Yeah. But we got to. That was the coolest part, is that we got to show it at the booth.
Yeah.
And we had so many players.
Oh yeah. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like
that was.
It was crazy to think that like our small game made in college, like just as a project, just turned into something that big. Like it was surreal how much how much attention I was getting from that game. It was just like,
it was weird.
Yeah.
I was so scared and so nervous, and just it was. The craziest part about that was I went in going like, cool, we're showing at Comic-Con, super excited, right? But I'm like, honestly, I don't care if anybody like likes it or even plays it or whatever. Like just the fact that it's here,
that
and
it's
like,
here,
look at what we did, and like get a couple people, right? No, it was like person after person, mainly kids too, and that's what blew me away, is that it was our demographic was completely off from what we originally thought.
Oh yeah, I thought it was gonna go to like young adults, kind of, that kind of genre of third-person shooter.
Yeah, I was estimating, because I think even when we did our GDD for it, I think I estimated 14 up.
Yeah.
Originally, and dude, I think 85-90% of that player base that we got that weekend was 11.
Complete opposite, 14 down.
9 to 11.
Yeah.
Maybe. And that was surreal.
I really was.
Seriously, it was surreal. And for anybody out there who wants to try and put their hand into something that they are really passionate about, be it art or gaming or design, anything like that, like if you can find a way to get into even a tiny convention, because they have a bunch of tiny ones everywhere too. Yeah. This one we just happened to have an inn, which was awesome.
Yeah. Jay was awesome.
Jay, Steve, all of those guys helped out a lot. Even when we went to the meetings on setting it up and getting stuff ready, like it was amazing. And I just remember, like, even the teachers were like, I remember them texting and calling me like, where are you guys? And what time are you starting the demo? Because we have people here waiting already. Yeah. And we're like, we're not even there yet.
Honestly, yeah.
Like we started at 11. It opens up at like, I don't know, 9 or 10.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah, we have people waiting. They just want to know. I was like, yeah, we'll be there. It'll be set up and ready to go at 11. Like, we had to stick at that time.
Yeah.
Because if not, then we're just like, well, we're screwed at that point. Yeah,
honestly.
But I remember getting there, and the school had like this whole thing planned out. So they had the 5 computers. They were going to do a demo of like how to 3D model, how to do lighting, like get kind of people like a little bit interested, and kind of like the game development side of games.
I mean, basically recruitment. Like, it's like come and try out what you're gonna do in college.
Basically, and they did it really nice because it wasn't like come to our school. Like it was like, no, you like this this program? Like this is what we teach. Like this is the stuff you'd be learning, which we did.
Yeah.
And then our game. That was the next part of it, and we got to demo it. And originally, we had the schedule where we were going to be like an hour or 2 blocks.
Yeah.
And then they would do another demo.
And then come back to us and things like that.
Throw a tournament, that kind of stuff. Yeah. But then it turned into like, nah, they all want to come to the booth.
Yeah, it was just game nonstop.
Everybody at the school was like, oh, they're coming. Like, yeah, totally. And it was just the game. That's all it was. It was like a little bit of demo at the beginning of the day of each 3 days.
Yeah.
Dude, that was so cool though.
Really
so I'm glad you got to see that. And I didn't realize that was your first Comic-Con.
Yeah.
I think I might have even told you that before, but
no, I mean, it was a lot of fun.
What'd you take away from that? Like, what was the biggest because
the community.
The community?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think the community, like, just like, I didn't really see like people like going in like this is trash or like that's stupid or anything like that. It was just like kind of like, oh, this is interesting.
From
like,
our game and booth, or
I mean,
the
just
whole thing?
the whole thing. I was like, I got to walk around a little bit. And,
Yeah.
People stop by and whatnot, and I saw a lot of comic strips. I saw a lot of anime, and I mean, of course,
everything.
like selling stuff like Yoshi and Mario and everything like that. Of course,
Galore.
But, yeah.
You even have those mystery boxes. Did you see
Oh
those?
yeah, I saw those. Yeah.
I want one.
How much were those running?
I was like $35.
Oh yeah, those are cheap.
Yeah, and they probably have something super cheap in there that they get in bulk anyway. But
Yeah.
just the fact you're like, oh yeah,
It's a mystery box.
yeah, hit it, a
Yeah.
coin comes out, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, like, I love cons in general.
Yeah.
And I mentioned Gen Con earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you know much about Gen Con. It's in Indianapolis. It's a gaming convention. So okay, so you've been, and you say okay, so Comic-Con was your only and first convention, right?
Pretty much.
Okay,
yeah.
so and rightfully so, they changed the name to Pop Culture Con because that's exactly what it is. It's all pop culture.
Yeah.
Comic-Con just happens to be that name that's been around forever, like San Diego Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con, that kind of thing. Okay,
Of course, yeah,
it
I've
started
heard
with
of those.
comics,
Yeah.
makes sense. Superheroes, that kind of stuff, but it's evolved now into so much more.
Yeah.
And even ours is it's so much fun. Like, I have so many stories, it's ridiculous about it. But Gen Con is a gaming convention, particularly tabletop and card game gaming.
Yeah.
And so it's the first time I ever flew out of state for a convention. And I had a bunch of friends that were playing Dragon Ball because we were all going together.
Yeah.
Actually, 2 friends, only 2 out of the 30 you had here.
Oh, gotcha.
And so we went out, we flew out, we got a hotel, everything. We took an Uber. In Indianapolis, it was not as big as I thought it was. I was expecting it to be huge, but it wasn't. Like, it was pretty much just a circle.
Just a
it was
circle.
great. It was great. We got to the convention and just walked in, and I was like, all right, I've done plenty of Comic-Cons, that kind of stuff, so I kind of had the feeling and idea of what a convention is going to be like. I had my pass, all that good stuff, right? Got in there, it was just tables everywhere.
Dang.
For people who just sit down and play card games. They were running tournaments. That was the biggest tournament I've ever been a part of.
I bet.
As far as playing, it was like Dragon Ball. You had so the way it worked is you went online and got your badge, and then you had to get a ticket to play in the tournament, and a digital ticket. Right?
Yeah.
And it tells you, here's the event. Here's how many tickets are available. They only were going to allow 64 players. Right?
Wow.
So me and my buddy, we were up, ready, an
Yeah.
hour before it happened,
Yeah.
30 minutes before. Okay, our badges were ready. Okay, time hit, boom, 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 refresh.
Yeah.
Got in there on the 3rd try. I was the 1,000th person in line.
Wow.
So I was like, oh my God. And I kept thinking, like, all 1,000 people are going to be way ahead of me. It's like, no, that's dumb.
Yeah.
All 1,000 people don't want to play Dragon Ball. They're going for other things. Right?
Yeah.
I signed up. I got my ticket for the Dragon Ball tournament. There was only 24 people at that point in time. It sold out.
Yeah.
But I was the 24th. I was like, that's cool. So I got into the original 64 players.
Yeah.
And then there was so much anger and backlash that people were like, why are there only 64 slots? So they doubled it, 128.
Oh man.
And then they doubled it again.
What?
248, close to 250, maybe 300 players.
Wow.
They didn't even know how to run it. They were late.
Oh, I bet.
They were late.
Oh, I bet.
We were like, what are we supposed to be doing? Because they ran a tournament the night before, which was like a draft, basically.
Yeah.
So it's just a blank deck. Whatever you draw, you play with, that kind of thing. And that was really cool. That was really fun. It was like good practice or whatever. But then the next day happened, and dude, it was awesome. Oh my God. But I underestimated it because I've never played a tournament that big at such a big convention.
Yeah.
I should have taken snacks, should have had water. I was freaking starving. I was like going crazy, like shaking on playing my cards. Like I couldn't think straight, like everything. But it was so amazing.
Yeah.
So when all that was said and done, I got to explore more of the convention. And the cool thing that you can also relate to, because where we set up our booth in Comic-Con, that was the merchant area.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's where everybody's allowed to sell. Then you have Celebrity Summit where all the celebrities are, right?
Yeah.
We were set up in the merchant area, basically. Gen Con also had a merchant area. You had to walk through this big area that was like a bunch more tables and stuff like that, but it was completely Magic the Gathering.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, tables everywhere, right? They had a whole nother area just like that, just for Magic.
Jeez.
It was huge. They had a huge prize wall.
Dang.
And like, you get this many points, you can turn them in for these prizes. Like, holy crap, that was a tournament.
People travel to that, right?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
From all around.
Oh, yeah. The
That's
convention,
crazy.
but for also Magic, too. But, dude, that was the craziest tournament I've ever seen in my life. I didn't even play, but it was just cool to see. So I walked through there, and I got into the vendor area. It was similar to Comic-Con. They have all, like, the props and stuff like that, but they sell games. They have play mats. They have card sleeves. They have the coolest part was, like, they were giving demos and, like, sample cards of games that were coming out.
Yeah.
So I have like random cards for games that I have no idea if they ever even came out.
Yeah.
Like a zombie sheep, I think, for some sort of zombie card game that was supposed to be coming out.
Yeah, that's
But it was super cool. It was amazing, and I just like blown away. And I bought 2 play mats from there that were exclusive. That's the word I'm looking for. Not custom, but exclusive to Gen Con. And there was one that wasn't even out yet. They're like, this is out. This will be out in like a couple weeks at this tournament. It's like, but we have it here if you guys want to purchase them, that kind of thing. Like, it's all about marketing. That's all it is. But
of course.
it's gorgeous. It was awesome. But funny story with Gen Con is that I started talking to a bunch of game developers.
Really?
This is before I was even
Considering.
Well, I was considering, but I didn't know how to go about it.
Yeah.
I talked to a guy at Gen Con, and I can't even remember what company or anything now. But talking to him, I was like, yeah, I've always wanted to design my own games. I've done it before, just in my sheer force of will to, like, not the gameplay.
Yeah.
Of me just trying to, like, I'm going to design a game. And I designed a little mini RPG game, which is really cool. I designed card games before. It was, like, just tiny little, like, super simple things that friends used to play, right?
Yeah.
Used it all the time. But I told him, I was like, yeah, I've always done it before, but I've never, like, thought about it, doing it, like, going to school for it or, like, doing it professionally. He's like, you should look into game art and design. Boom. That was my first official, like, something to look for.
Yeah.
I was like, huh, okay, cool. So then he's like, cool, have a good day, man. And enjoy the rest of the con. Met up with my friends. Then we flew out, came back here, and I remember getting home, and I checked on the computer. It was like, game art and design. And it was like, bink, our skull popped up.
Yep.
It was like, right in your backyard. It's 10 minutes away. I was like,
I'm going.
huh. The funny part, though, is that I just, like, learning about it. They called me after I clicked on that button about 5-10 minutes later. Yep. And I'll never forget that lady. Her name was Andrea. She's really, really cool. And she's the one that recruited me. And got there, and we set up a tour, got in there. I was like, you know what, screw it, sure. And I showed up, I did the tour. Yeah. Checked out everything. I was like, cool, awesome. Signed up, like, almost instantly.
Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was nerve-wracking and scary because I'm like,
yeah,
that's going to be my 3rd degree. Like, holy crap. Like,
yeah.
do I really want to do this?
Yeah, again.
But, dude, so worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, we met through there.
Yeah, that's true.
Our game was born from there.
Yeah.
Bunch of awesome friends, just everything.
Oh, yeah.
So, that was really cool. It was awesome. It was amazing. Yeah. But it's all because of pop culture.
Yeah, honestly. Just.
Yeah. I like the other side of, like, the pop culture, like, whole thing of it is I really like the way movies have really, like, influenced us. Like, the way we think about, who was it? It was me and Ellis. We were talking about Yeah, actually, in this older podcast, which you can catch on our YouTube and our
True.
Facebook page.
I'm gonna put those on there for you. We're right there.
But we were talking about how the way pop culture and culture in general has affected like the way comics and superheroes are, like from their design to showing it on the big screen, like the old what's his name that made Night Before Christmas?
Night Before Christmas. Oh, Burton.
Tim Burton. Thank you.
Tim Burton, yeah.
Yes. How Tim Burton's take on Batman
Yeah.
compared to Christopher Nolan's,
Yeah.
or even Justice League, like Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
So cartoony, still over the top. Like Bane was just like a meathead,
Oh, yeah.
all huge, and then Two-Face was like super, like
Yeah. Oh yeah.
super cartoony,
Oh yeah.
that kind of thing.
You can get really adventurous with those.
Oh yeah, but like that's how all superhero movies used to be. Comic book movies like that.
Yeah.
Like it was over the top still.
Yeah.
Like even in the dark spots in like the Batman movies, like
Mhm.
sure shady, and you can kind of see him in the shadows, but it was
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
like
Yeah.
goofy still,
Yeah.
right? Like even when Riddler was on there, like
Yeah.
super goofy, right? Then get like Christopher Nolan's Batman. And it was like, okay, let's make it more realistic. Let's
Yeah.
make this a real kind of thing instead of this crazy kooky like Gotham City. It was
Yeah.
like it was an actual city.
Mhm.
Oh, cool. And then everyone started noticing like, all right, these can be more real. And then the Marvel Cinematic Universe started. And then DCEU started, and dude, all the movies up to
Yeah.
this point, like they can do so many cool things, like sci-fi, fantasy, comic, pop culture,
yeah.
movies, any of those types.
Oh, yeah.
They can make it in like the real world, and we love it. For example, Infinity War, which we constantly talk about, but how awesome that this world of superheroes that we created, that live in our world,
Yeah.
and fight against a huge, let's put it this way, a huge, gigantic purple alien
Yeah.
from Titan
Yeah.
that is collecting 6 magic rocks and putting them in a metal glove.
You're either high or doing something to make
Right,
that
and
up.
even the comics too. They were
Yeah.
that was like it was crazy, but they designed each of the characters to fit the real world, and they even explain like the way magic and stuff works like that. It's like similar to science.
Yeah.
Like
So, yeah.
quoted in Thor. But like you made it even like Thanos was relatable.
Yeah.
That movie was his movie. Avengers just
course.
happened to be a
Oh,
part of
yeah.
it, but
Oh,
that
yeah.
was just like,
I mean, you see all the memes.
oh yeah, totally.
Even if you didn't see it, like you saw the memes and you saw something snap or somebody dissolving or something like that. That transformed and that spread worldwide.
Oh yeah,
Honestly.
I mean best costume. You
Yeah.
just wear a bag with dirt and then say Spider-Man.
Right? Yeah. Exactly. That's sad.
Speaking
but,
of, have you ever dressed up?
I actually have not. Like the most I've ever dressed up is probably like a T-shirt of like Superman or Batman or something like that. And
In your entire life, you never
my
dressed in a
entire
costume?
life, no.
Not even for Halloween?
No.
What's
like,
wrong with you?
It wasn't me, man. It wasn't me. It was my parents. It was all your fault. I'm just kidding. No,
Really?
No, yeah. Like
How come?
I think, I mean, of course, my parents for Halloween they were kind of religious back, like, kind of like that reason. But also like, I mean, I'm still am an introvert, but like, I still didn't feel comfortable being like, hey, look at me, I'm this. I didn't really want attention towards me, like kind
Yeah.
of like that.
It's
Yeah.
interesting too, because I think in the thought process of a superhero hiding behind a mask, when we as like kids and things like that dress up in costume, we
Yeah.
kind of hide behind that mask of
Yeah.
if you're portraying, for example, Superman, you're strong, indestructible, you could do anything.
Yeah.
Right? Like even Jen's kids, like they're awesome and they have so much energy and stuff, but when they're playing,
Mm-hmm.
like one of them's Black Panther, the other one's
Yeah.
Hulk, and then you got Captain America, and they're all fighting and playing together, and like their whole like mindset changes.
Yeah.
It's amazing. They're not them; they are the heroes or villains. Because I know
Yeah.
Jen's oldest likes Thanos just probably as much, if not more, than I do.
Yeah, I know you do.
But he that's who he was for Halloween, was Thanos. And he would walk around with his glove, and it was the best thing ever. So I got to hang out with them for Halloween. This first time
Yeah.
was this past year, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was great. And the cool part about it was like, not only do I love pop culture and like all this stuff like that, but to see them, how they loved it.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of how I used to love it
Oh,
back
yeah.
then too. It
Oh,
just
yeah.
made me
Nostalgic.
now
Yeah,
feel even
yeah.
better. But so we're going trick or treating, and they were hanging out. We went to like this thing called Zubu. It was like the zoo did like a trick or treating event kind of thing. Superheroes are huge,
Oh yeah.
especially among kids, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's where they get their money.
Honestly,
Sell
yeah.
those toys.
Oh yeah.
Him being Thanos brought a really interesting thing that I noticed. All the kids that were heroes wanted to fight him
Really?
because they were the heroes.
Yeah,
they
of
had to
course.
stop the villain,
Yeah.
right?
So I mean,
He would fight them. Guess what he'd do? He'd pull
Snap.
the glove forward. He would snap, and all of them immediately would go ah,
Oh my god.
and hit the ground.
That's funny.
Without like that's just.
Yeah, that's just what they
Oh.
know. I mean, that's crazy.
It was amazing. He was fighting. I think it was like 3 Spider-Men at one time. He was
Yeah.
fighting them all, which was awesome. He's like, yeah, 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 and then he goes, boom, and he goes like that, snaps, and they just go, and they all just
Yeah.
fall down. I'm like, dude,
Dang.
Like,
Just
that's
getting in
what-
character, man.
dude, yeah, it was so awesome, and that part right there was really what hit me and struck me because back in elementary school. So let me take you back.
Yeah. Take me back. Take me back to the day.
So back in elementary school, this is where I met my girlfriend. I've known her for probably over 20 years now.
Jesus.
We met back in first grade.
You're old, dude. Sorry.
Whatever. 20, 30, I don't know, a lot of
No,
years ago.
no.
Right, but we met back in first grade. And she used to watch me and my friends play on the playground, right?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like kickball or football. Sometimes we played wall ball or
Yeah.
bird ball.
Oh yeah, that game. Oh my gosh, I can tell you how many
Right.
scars I have from
Seriously.
that game.
But we used to play in a certain spot on the playground by these 2 tall trees, right?
Mhm.
We used to play Dragon Ball.
Really?
Yep. Which, can you imagine
Yeah.
that? A bunch of kids on the
Honestly,
playground play fighting?
I mean, I never saw. I mean, I might have, but I mean, I always saw kids like play their own version of something,
Mm-hmm.
like reenactment or something like that, and you know that really like got my attention. I'm like, what are y'all doing? And they explain. I'm like, okay, I get it, but then I don't at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's just like the kid mentality. So
Yeah.
I used to do that forever. So started in elementary school, we played Dragon Ball.
Mhm.
I was Goku. My best friend was like Vegeta. My other best friend at the time was Broly. And like we all used to just fight, right? There even came to times where if I was sick and had to miss school, one of them would take my spot as Goku. And I would come back and like, dude, we need you back. Like,
Oh my
He tried playing
gosh.
Goku and he just does it so weird.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
It was just funny little stuff. I mean, we
That's
were
funny.
kids.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
But it was cool. We would just do that. She used to watch us play that.
Oh my gosh.
Do that, and then we got a little older, not more mature, a little older.
Yeah.
Got that right.
Yeah. You.
And then
you aged.
right, then I met my best friend back in 5th grade. My best friend Brandon,
Mhm.
and we used to play Yu-Gi-Oh.
Okay. Yeah.
Both the card game and imaginary.
Yeah.
So what we used to do, we used to pretend we had the dual discs. Right,
Mhm.
we go out into the 4 squares and pretend like
Yep.
that was our arena. We would play,
Yep.
and we would beat our monsters
your
and
monster,
fight.
yeah.
Right, it was awesome. We'd reenact the show basically.
Yeah.
We used to do that with Pokemon, everything, and this is definitely where we differ. For sure, I've had costumes for as long as I can remember, and most of them were handmade.
Really?
Yes.
Dang.
My mom and my dad used to make so many of our costumes, spend countless hours in the night. I remember there was one. Remember the show Brave Little Toaster? You ever heard of that cartoon?
I think I've heard of it. I don't think I've
Old
ever
movie.
seen it.
Right. It's called The Brave Little Toaster. It was like a little toaster. He had his friend Blanky, and he had his vacuum friend. I think his name was Kirby.
Mm-hmm.
He was my favorite. And the lamp, I think his name was Lampy. I don't remember. But like, I've had an obsession with vacuums. I don't know why. But it was definitely because of that show. Because I liked Kirby. He was
Yeah.
cool. He was like the tough one, like
Yeah.
the gritty kind of one.
Mhm.
I wanted to be him for Halloween one year.
Oh my god.
My parents made me the costume. And they made it out of wire and some awesome cool fabric where it would open, I would step in and it would close
You just
behind me.
close-
It was
Dang,
awesome.
that's
It even had like a dowel rod that looked like the little
the little motors on
little
top.
motor.
Yeah.
It was so cool. But they used to make a lot of my costumes. Some of my favorite ones was Ash from Pokemon.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
had the wig and it came down. I had the hat. Like she
Yeah.
made the entire costume look exactly. I even had a
Dang.
little stuffed Pikachu that she sewed on top of my hat.
Yes. That's awesome.
It was so cool. I had a Pokeball. Like even had the fingerless gloves. That I was Dumbledore one year. She made the costume for that. It was when Harry Potter was really big.
Dang.
Oh, geez. Let's see. I was Superman multiple times, but we'll get to that. I was Superman, and my mom made that entire costume, like the red underwear, the cape, the S, everything, right? I was Batman one year. Even had like the fake muscles. It was super cool. She made me a cowl, which I could turn my head, which is great.
Yeah.
Superman. My brother was a Scorpion from Mortal Kombat.
Oh yes, favorite character right there.
Oh, I can't even talk to you anymore. Sub-Zero all the way.
No, man.
Actually, Frost, but the Lin Kuei in
We'll
general.
play after.
We'll play after. Okay, fair enough. The new one's coming out.
Yeah.
The song
I'm
ruined that
excited.
first trailer,
Yeah.
but the gameplay looks amazing.
The gameplay does look amazing. Yeah, I'll admit that.
But you know, it's really funny is that my brother was Scorpion long time ago when I was Batman. Like we were little, right? I never was a Mortal Kombat character until I was old enough to make my own.
What year is that? Or when? How old are you?
I was already on my own. Early 20s.
Okay. Who were you? Sub-Zero?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm saying.
Here's the cool part: is that I was Sub-Zero. I used it. I was like, cool. So I bought the costume, the Sub-Zero costume, and I modified it.
Yeah.
I was like, cool. Yeah, I can do this. No
Yeah,
problem.
Of course, yeah.
And then one of my best friends at the time, I don't know what to be. I was like, well, do you want to be Frost? She goes, who's Frost? I showed her Frost. She goes, oh, she's like a Sub-Zero
Yeah,
character, a female. I was like, yeah. She's like, sure. So I gave her the costume pieces, and we modified it further. Her mom did a lot of the sewing, stuff like that. But then I helped her with like her hair, the makeup, the mask kind of part of it. Dude, she looked so freaking cool.
Dang.
Like it was awesome. But man, been doing costumes, not only wearing and designing them, but for a long time.
Dang.
Come now, all the way back around to Denver Comic Con. Very first one I went to, I was like, it was last second. I was like, yeah, I want to go. Maybe not. 3-day passes sold out. Didn't know because I've never actually got them before. That was my first time, right? So I was like, all right, I'll just go Saturday. That's like the best day, which still holds true. I'll just go Saturday. So I bought a Saturday pass. My buddy Vince was going Friday. I was all right. I wasn't doing anything Friday. I was off of work and everything. And I'm like, screw it. I bought another pass.
Dang.
I bought the Friday pass. I went, loved it so much. Went Saturday, bought a Sunday pass. I had bought
Oh
3
my
separate
gosh.
passes. I spent probably double the amount of a 3-day
I
pass.
imagine. Yeah, I imagine.
But God, was it amazing. So I dressed up as Clark Kent. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was super awesome.
Yeah, I can see you with your little curly hair.
Oh
there.
yeah,
I
yeah,
can
and
see
it's
that.
natural. I can do it. And it's easy. You wear a Superman shirt underneath some dress clothes. I already have the glasses. I did the hair automatically. Like, it was awesome, right? Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
So I went there, and I already knew I was going Saturday, right? So, my sister was just like, you know what you should do that I heard that they have? I was like, what's that? She goes, you should do Comic-Con speed dating. First off, you know what speed dating is.
Yeah.
You sure?
At Comic-Con.
Yes.
Really? That's
So-
interesting.
Yeah, so I was like, all right. So I went Friday just to check it out. It was super cool. I had my little notepad, and I had my little badge, like Clark Kent, right? I was interviewing people, and that was how I broke the ice.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, Clark Kent, Daily Planet, let me get an interview with you. You're like, sure, yeah. They come up, and that's my first huge introduction into cons where if they're dressed up, they want to talk to you. They want to show off their costume.
Oh, yeah.
You just don't want to be creep about it. Just ask them.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. Just ask them.
Just ask them.
But so yeah, so I was doing that. I was interviewing a bunch of people. I was just like writing scribbles or just like a description of who the person was or whatever. But that's where I was like, all right, cool. I was a little bit more confident about doing speed dating now. My sister even paid for it 'cause she went also with me on Saturday.
Yeah.
And went in there, and the host was a big dude. He's a Jedi. He dressed up like a Jedi. He had custom robe, custom saber, everything. Like,
Dang.
right. So I went in there and I was signed up and stuff like that. Cool, show up at this time. Cool. It was like a time slot thing. So showed up. He had all of the guys line up on this row, all the girls line up around the corner in the other row. They let all the girls in. We're all sitting there. I made friends with a couple of people. He was Solomon Grundy. from the Batman show.
Okay,
He was like
yeah.
the zombie.
Yeah.
And so I made friends with him. He was super cool, super nervous. But I was sitting there talking with all these dudes, and in no way am I trying to come off cocky or anything. But the level of confidence, though, compared to other nerds or other like geeks or
Yeah.
is staggering. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting there talking with him. He was super nervous. This little skinny, scrawny dude, right? He just
Yeah.
showed up to Comic-Con. He's like, yeah, I guess. I'm a little nervous, and I made good friends with him.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, cool. Like, yeah, no big deal. Like, I was going in there. I wasn't expecting anything. I just wanted to try it out because it sounded fun.
Yeah.
That's really all it was. Like, if I got something out of it, cool, whatever.
Yeah. You experience it.
Yeah. So making friends with him and a couple other dudes, and finally they let us in, right? Didn't know what to expect. First off, didn't even know they let the girls in yet. I thought we were all gonna come in at the same
at the
time.
same time,
So
kinda.
I didn't know how it worked.
Yeah.
We walked in. It was just the guys. All the girls were already sitting at the chairs. So
Okay.
normally it's like a chair, table, chair kind
Yeah,
of situation,
yeah.
and you just change.
Mm-hmm.
There was 200 of us, so 100 girls, 100 guys. Right.
Wow.
200 of us, and there was only chair to chair. So there are rows of chairs everywhere, right?
Oh.
We walk in, and all the girls sit on the same side, of course, facing
Yeah.
the door. We walk in, all these girls are just sitting there, most of them in costume, just staring at us walking in.
Yeah.
I've never in my life felt more like a piece of meat than I did in that
Oh, I imagine.
one instant.
Oh, I imagine.
So we walked in, and we all
It's
stood up
kinda
at the
like a-
front. At that point, I was like, okay, this is it's a little intimidating. All right.
Yeah.
So the host kind of explained, like, oh, welcome to Comic-Con speed dating. This is what we do, blah, blah, blah. Explaining the rules. And it basically boiled down to, like, guys, if you're here just to get laid, you can leave now.
Ooh, wow.
Then you looked at the girls and says, girls, if you're here just to get laid, take your pick.
I like that.
It was
Yeah,
super funny.
that's
He was
funny.
hilarious, though.
Yeah.
He was really funny. But he ran things. He does this constantly every single year. I still see him there doing it, and it's awesome. And so we did it. We sat down, right? We had the way it works is that you get a badge number.
Okay.
First rule: you're not supposed to use names, right? It's like you just don't use the names. And then if you get like a note card, you can take notes on if you remember the person or
Yeah.
like them or whatever.
Yeah.
Basically, you're supposed to write their number down.
Their number,
if
yeah.
you like them. And at the end, we split up again. You have pieces of paper. It says F and then the number, so female badge number. Blah.
Mhm.
For the guy or for the girls, it's the same thing except it's male badge
Yeah.
number, whatever, right? Yeah, I was like, cool. Yeah, I write the badge number down of girls I liked, right? Thing I didn't realize was that, after we left speed dating, how am I supposed to remember which girl's which,
I know. Yeah.
right?
I was just about to ask that.
Some of them I actually like wrote down like a symbol or something. I should have been like Iron Man,
Yeah.
Batgirl,
Yeah,
like,
something like that.
that kind of thing. And so I didn't think about it until I was already done. But so we went through. You had 3 minutes to talk. I was Clark Kent, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Not my real name. Didn't break the rules.
It's true.
Dude, perfect icebreaker. Hey,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
Clark Kent, but I'm not supposed to tell you that.
Yeah.
Right? Done.
Yeah.
Ice broke right there.
That's good.
It was so fun. It was so cool. And it was like 3 minutes. Cool. Done. Sit to the next person.
Yeah.
Talk. 3
Next.
minutes back.
Yeah.
Dude, holy crap. It was really fun, though. It was really cool. The best part of that entire experience was that there were 2 dudes that walked in later on. No costume, no nothing. Kind of like baggy clothes, though. Almost kind of wannabe gangsters.
Cholo.
Yeah, kind of, but
Yeah.
nerdy ones.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Right?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Guess what they like?
Probably these nerdy girls.
Nope.
No.
Well, okay, yeah, they're into women, of course.
Oh, yeah.
No, they like Dragon Ball.
Really.
What better anime to like than a show where it's just like fighting and
Yeah.
powering up and getting
Yeah.
stronger, right?
That makes sense. Yeah.
So the host picked on them because they were kind of douches. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
They were kind of douches.
I hate that.
And they're like, yeah, cool, whatever, man. Yeah, cool. Like just playing it all, whatever.
Mhm.
And they were in there and they were like just not causing trouble, but just kind of being douches.
Yeah.
And so the host would constantly pick on him. He's like, all right. He goes, let me ask you a question. See if you pass this test. So yeah, sure. Ask me whatever. It's like, I know Dragon Ball. You can ask me anything about Dragon Ball. I'll answer it. He's like, no. I make the rules here. He goes, I'm going to ask you 2 very simple questions, okay? It's all right. He's like, you know Captain America? Like, yeah. He's like, what's his real name?
I don't even know that. Jeez.
Steve Rogers.
Okay.
He looks at the audience. At this time, it was an audience, which was mainly the girls. And he goes, he's like, I don't know. Ask me something about Dragon Ball.
Oh, no.
He's like, ladies?
Yep.
They're like, Steve Rogers. They're like, oh. And it was like so easy answer, too. He's like,
Yeah.
all right. Let me ask you another one. Super, super easy. Super simple. Like basic.
Yeah.
You know, Batman has a butler, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Alfred?
Alfred, yeah.
What's Alfred's last name?
Alfred Butler. That's his name.
They gave a similar answer, which was more along the lines of, I don't know, ask me about Dragon Ball.
Oh, my gosh.
So he turns to the girls again, and they're like, Pennyworth.
Okay, yeah.
Alfred Pennyworth.
Yeah.
Super easy.
Yeah.
When you're not put on the spot, of course.
Yeah.
But they're easy, simple, like basic things that constantly carry over from every iteration of Batman, or in Steve Rogers' case, every issue of Captain America, right?
Yeah.
And he couldn't get right, but they were so frustrated. He's like, yeah, that's right. He's like, calm down, like stop being douches.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Kind of stood you up, like let's tone it down. Let's get back to this.
It was super funny, and the best part about it, well, that was the best part. The second best part. So, everything ended. Girls went to one side, guys went to the other. We found the papers with our badges, blah blah blah. And so the way it works is that you find the girl's paper, so F37, for example. If you like that girl, you can put your name and your phone number and or email, whatever you want to put on it, basically.
Yeah.
Right? And then at the end, you sit down, he hands you your thing, and you can leave.
Oh, okay.
This way you have the sheet of all the girls or guys in their case or whatever. They didn't get a single name or number.
I imagine.
It was so freaking funny. The only reason I knew that was because I was waiting. I got mine. I got quite a bit on there, which I was pretty happy about. I was like, yeah, awesome, cool.
Good, yeah.
I mean, even before we started doing that, there was a girl dressed up like Xena. And I didn't get to sit and talk with her.
Yeah.
She yelled across the room and goes, Clark Kent. And I turned around, I was like, what? She goes, what's your badge number?
Oh, my gosh.
And I told her, so she signed her thing down, and I asked her the same thing, and I put mine, because I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll talk to her or whatever. And it was just super funny. And so I got mine. I met up with the guy I made friends with in line earlier and asked him, how'd you do? He's like, I got like 2 or 3 numbers. I'm like, cool, man, that's awesome. Because he was expecting nothing.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of girls in there that have the same characteristic and personality he did when I was meeting him, because he's super quiet, reserved, just like, I like this kind of stuff. I don't really know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
there's a ton of them in there.
There's a match for everybody, man.
Oh, yeah. Especially in that situation. I think the Comic-Con speed dating was the coolest version of that I've ever seen in my life. And I've seen a couple versions of it.
Really?
By random chance, me and 2 coworkers from the catering company went to a movie one night. I don't remember what the theater was called. It was a cool one, though, where you can like, get unlimited popcorn. Yeah. It's like stuff. Then we went to go eat or grab a drink at the bar right next door. Speed dating was going on. That was like normal speed dating. It looked just so awkward. Because I'm like, because to me, I was just like, how am I supposed to talk to this person? Like, okay, I can manage. But in the Comic-Con one, it's where my nerd hat comes in.
Yeah, exactly.
I can, and the way I used to explain it, especially to my sister too, was it was like I would basically look at them if they were in costume and be able to switch over into that realm of nerd. Yeah. Because I knew so many different versions of it. I noticed they have dice earrings on. Like, oh, what kind of games do you like to play? Cool. We talk about games that way. I've noticed they dressed up like a Star Trek character. Yeah. Start talking Star Trek. Dressed up like a Jedi, a superhero, Doctor Who fan. Boom. Yeah. I was just like able to switch mindsets and like, what's your favorite Doctor? That kind of thing, and immediately make conversation. Yeah. That was so much easier than a regular speed dating would have been.
Oh, I imagine. And I can see that now. It was just like, you kind of go up to somebody and be like, I can't really see anything what you're wearing, or you're like, wear your earrings, or, anything, so I can't really start up anything.
Right,
so I can see that, yeah.
It was cool. Made a lot of good friends. I got a girlfriend out of it. We dated for quite a while. I think 2 or 3 years. Dang. It was cool, but that was my first introduction to Comic-Con. How like insane that was, right? I was like, loved it. Went every year since then. Mainly because we were dating and she loved the same thing too. But I've just gone to them for so long, and I started making costumes, like more hardcore than I used to. Like instead of just fabric and that kind of sewing, I started making armor and like all kinds of cool stuff. So then the following year, I went as Superman now, not just Clark Kent, but actual Superman.
Yeah.
I made such a cool version of it where Injustice, the game Injustice came out.
Yeah.
I'm like, I like the way that looks. It looks more like armor than it does a suit.
Yeah, I saw that.
And so I found a couple cosplayers, and learned some things. But there's one cosplayer I follow that she makes her own books. You can buy them on how to do that, and she shows you how to make patterns and do everything. And you use this stuff called Warbler. It's a thermoplastic. Basically, it's a plastic that you can heat up and form, and it'll harden.
Oh, wow.
And you can sand it, you can paint it, do that kind of thing, right?
That's cool.
So I spent the time. Normally you have a mannequin that you can do it on, but she also teaches you how to make molds based on your own body. So it'll fit you perfectly.
Yeah.
Right? So I made one onto myself, and I made a big Superman crest.
Dang.
Huge one. It sits on my shoulders. I was able to put the button snaps into the Warbler itself when it was soft and it would harden on it. So I snapped my cape into it.
Yeah.
Strapped it behind me. I airbrushed the whole suit. I had a good friend from Mines who helped me with that thing. He was a lifesaver because I can't airbrush myself.
Yeah, of course.
So I had him wear it, and I was like, this is going to be super awkward. This is going to be super cold, but thank you. And he's smaller than me.
Yeah.
So I was just like, just try to over-exaggerate your flexing.
Yeah.
He's like, what I'm doing is I'm airbrushing the shadows for your muscles. All right, cool. So he like super exaggerate everything, and I airbrushed some of the coolest muscles on that suit. Right? I was able to get the biceps. I was able to get the abs, everything. All like from here down. I airbrushed the entire damn thing.
Dang.
It was cool. So when you put that on, it looked kind of funny, but then you put the armor on, and
Dang.
dude, I did a
cool.
photo shoot with it. Like, dude, it was badass.
That's cool. I'm not sure if I saw a picture of that on your Facebook, but
You might have, yeah. That's like original Superman, like New
Okay.
52, so blue.
Yeah.
Didn't have the red shorts.
Okay,
He had
yeah.
already moved away from that kind of thing. Almost Man of Steel, kind of.
yeah.
The following year at school, they offered a cosplay class.
Really?
Yes. First time they ever offered it. It was only offered during the spring because Comic-Con was in the
Yeah.
spring. All right. I'm like, I could take that as an elective. So I made sure it was going to work as an elective. They're like, yeah, you can take anything as an elective. I was like, cool, just making sure.
Yeah.
Signed up for that class. And I was like, all right, cool. I was totally out of place, dude.
Really?
Yeah, everybody in there was hardcore super nerd.
Wow.
And the first couple weeks, I'm like, God, all these people are annoying the crap out of me. Holy crap. So when I get in here, I want to learn what she wants to show me because she was one of the fashions teachers.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So
that makes
she
sense.
she
yeah.
knew some stuff.
That
right?
makes sense, yeah.
I was like, cool. And then we came up with what we're going to do. We're going to design. I told her, I was like, this is what I'm going to make. I showed her the old pictures of Superman. I was like, I'm going to make a new version of it. I'm going to make another Superman. I'm like, all right, cool. She's like, what are you going to use? I'm like, I'm going to use Warbler. She says, what the heck is that?
Really? She didn't even know about that.
Well, she did. I don't think she knew what the name was, but I explained to
okay.
it what it was.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I've used this before. Only one other girl in there has ever worked or used it before, right?
Yeah.
So, I set up the design, all that kind of stuff like that, and I made a new Superman. It's called Godfall Superman.
Dang.
It's an actual story. It's only six issues long, but it was also an Injustice. It was a playable suit you could pick, right? And it's red, black, and silver.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That looks cool.
And the
I
coolest
can
part is
see
that he still had the crest. It was a lot smaller, but it was armor on like his shoulders and his like bracers for his like his arms and his legs.
Dang.
It was so cool. I'm like, I'm gonna make that. And the cool thing about Injustice is that you can pick that one and you can rotate it 360 degrees.
Oh, yeah.
So I was
you
able
have
to
the
look
3D model.
detail.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And the best part about that 3D model is that most of them, he was there and you couldn't see like some details because
Yeah.
the cape was in the way. This one, the way he was posed, the cape was in the air.
Yeah,
So I
like
could see
kind of
everything.
Dang.
So I cut out each and every tiny little strip, figured everything on it. I used backpack clips
Oh,
from
yeah.
here to the actual shoulder pad so they would move. They were mobile.
That's cool.
So that was my project. And what I didn't know was that we were doing a fashion show for our final. So we used to do a spec jump.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We were part of that. That was our final. So we had to make our costume, go on the catwalk, and then the very last part of our final was show up at Comic-Con. All we had to do was spend an hour at the booth. So that was my first introduction to a booth at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
And I was posing as Superman.
That's fun.
It was amazing.
I bet.
So we went down that catwalk. We did a practice run upstairs in the penthouse,
Yeah.
and all the fashion teachers were there. They were judging.
Dang.
I was like, what are they judging for? I thought this was just a grade.
Yeah.
No, it was a freaking contest.
What?
I won first place.
First place of like for what
Best
did you-
cosplay, male cosplay.
Dang. What did you get out of it?
I got 2 really cool trophies and a really cool plaque.
Dang, dude.
But it was awesome, and
Yeah.
I was like, all right. So everybody was walking down, they're posing as their characters, like walking down the catwalk and everything like
yeah.
that. But it was cool, and I'm like, So I walked down, I kind of stumbled. She said, no. She goes, try it again. I was like, all right. It's like, is there anything I need to do specifically? She goes, no. You just got to make sure you stop. You walk out, you stop, and you look, and then you walk halfway, stop and pose, and then you walk to the third one, stop, turn around, and do the same thing all the way back. That was the only rules, right? I was like, okay, cool, I can do that. I think it's a gift and a curse. Not only do I have to try to be the best at everything, just because I just like trying my best at everything, right? I'm like, how can I make this even better? I turned and had my cape, and I flung it.
Oh
and
my gosh.
And it was like intense. And
Yeah.
Like, because that cape was gorgeous.
Oh,
I love the
imagine.
material I use for my capes, because what I found out with my first cape was that I would step on it, so it was
Yeah.
too long. I was like, but I like the length of it without getting it too short,
Yeah.
and I like the red. So we found a 4-way stretch material. If I step on it, it stretches. Doesn't put any stress here or on the bottom, and then it pops back
That
up.
makes sense, yeah.
Gorgeous. It's a little bit heavier, slightly heavier, but it's nice and silky. It feels really good. I can sleep in it. It's great.
I'm sure you
But
have.
so it was this crazy bright red silky cape, right?
Yeah.
Boom, flew it and just went. It was awesome. Walked to the first one, posed, and then the second step, she said, all you gotta do is stop in the middle and then stop at the end, right?
Yeah.
I took 1, 2, and I jumped.
And
I punched the ground.
Of course you did.
And then I looked up, like superhero punch,
Yeah.
right?
That's
I looked up and the cape went. And she goes, that right there. You need to do that every single time.
That's funny.
I was like, yeah. She goes, I'm going to be super disappointed if you don't do that. I was like, okay. She was
Okay.
a very intimidating teacher.
Oh, I
I
imagine.
feel sorry for those fashion students.
Oh, man.
But I was like, all right, cool. So I practiced that a couple more times. That was it. Everybody was like, yeah. And instantly, after I did that, all of my friends, because now I made friends with everybody.
Yeah.
Right? All my friends were like, all right, cool. So they went
Yeah.
over there. They would enter.
They'd
One
do
of them was
something.
Sora from Kingdom Hearts.
Okay, yeah.
He was the Halloween Town version.
Okay, yeah.
He came out, he pointed his sword, like everyone started
Getting
posing.
character.
And
Yeah.
the teacher even came up to me after. She's like, you ignited everybody. You have to do this. She goes, I'm moving you towards the front. I was like, crap. Because she wants me to go first so everybody would be more pumped up. I was like, all right. So I ended up being like 3rd overall or something like that. I was like, all right, cool. But it was awesome. And then it came time for the actual one at at the Spectrum show. And on the actual catwalk, you have the music, the lights, and everything going on. And I posed, and I had some of my friends and family were there. Some of the coolest pictures. Those are probably the ones you saw on Facebook. There was one where I was in the air, and then there was one when I was on the ground punching.
That's crazy.
It was so cool. And then that year at Comic-Con, we made a lot of good friends with photographers because my ex is a photographer, so she had a lot of good contacts.
Yeah.
So there's a really, really awesome cosplay photographer that's around Denver. He was like, yeah, totally. I'll take your guys' picture. Sure. I got some of the best pictures I've ever taken in a costume before.
Dang.
It's like super professional because that's what he does. He does cosplay photos.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was super awesome how he did it. Cape was flung, like everything. It was super cool. Damn, dude, like. Yeah, I want to make more costumes for sure. I just usually don't have time nowadays, but it's freaking awesome.
Dude.
So yeah, you're missing out.
I really am, man. Now that I think about it, like,
There's so many things you can do.
honestly.
Like even that cosplayer that I got the books from, she has, I own 5 or 6 of her books, and she has about 20.
wow.
But she tells you how you can put lights in it, how you can do these types of patterns, how to make certain types of guns, how to do armor out of warble and foam, like different mediums and everything like that, how to paint them, everything, how to pose for pictures, that kind of stuff, everything. She's awesome. She's
So,
super,
I mean,
super
you have
cool.
all this knowledge now. You can do your own book or
I could,
video
but-
or something.
Yeah, and that's one thing I was thinking of doing. Like we were talking about doing thoughts on cooking, like an actual cooking recipes, stuff like that. I'd love to do that. I also want to do costume stuff. That'd be great.
That would be fun.
Anything to kind of get like a tutorial type of video out
Yeah.
there, something super simple and easy.
Yeah.
I think we can easily do that. So I think that'd be really fun.
Yeah.
The best part though is that Jen has 3 boys who are
Yep.
each one of them is a different realm of nerd, like I am.
Yeah.
The older one loves like so the younger one is superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
The middle one's video games. The older one is card games.
Oh wow.
Generally, they mix.
Yeah. But I mean,
that's
they have
like
they
the
have
older
their
one
own.
likes Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
The middle one loves Minecraft and like video games, that kind of stuff. The little one's like Captain America is his dude, like Captain America. Like,
Yeah,
oh my
America.
god, it's awesome, and I can't wait. And I told Jen too, I was like, so when are we gonna start taking them to Comic-Con? So we're gonna figure out that info
Yeah.
whenever
soon.
we can.
Yeah.
But I want to start designing costumes.
Yeah.
Because not only are they smaller, it's going to take less product to make it.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I want the look on myself to do. I can be like, okay,
Yeah.
I can mold this, make a quick little mold or pattern off of them, and then do it that way, and then get a smaller mannequin and do the hot stuff on it.
I mean, I'm sure they'll
Separate
have a lot
myself.
of fun too. Like,
That'd be freaking
oh
cool.
yeah.
Can you imagine
That'd
that,
be
like
so
actual
excited.
Thanos costume?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, it'll be super cool. But you're missing out, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you saw all the costumes
Yeah.
though at Comic-Con.
Yeah, and I've seen some videos that like the View showed me. I can't remember who she was, but dang, she went all out, like lights in the hair and
Oh,
everything.
yeah, that's right. That wasn't
Yeah.
even the same one I was talking about, but I forgot about her. She did Fury from Darksiders 3.
Yeah, that's what you're talking
Dude,
about. Yeah.
I've never seen someone put so much detail into the hair like that before. Like the
Yeah.
lights, that was gorgeous. I was just gonna mention something to you too, but those costumes are super cool. Just
Dang.
in general, I love it. You should definitely get into it,
Yeah.
even if
Mine
it's something
too.
simple.
Let's do something.
My friends group,
Yeah.
we're all trying to plan like a big group costume. So like for example, our original thought for this coming Comic-Con is all doing Avengers. Because
Okay, yeah.
Endgame is coming out this year,
Mhm.
and Infinity War just ended.
Yeah.
How cool would that be? Ellis is freaking best Black Panther ever.
Yeah.
He loves it. He owns that character.
Oh,
It's
I know.
awesome.
He talks about it. That's
Too
amazing.
much. He talks about it too much.
Not at all.
That's right. He talked about it too damn
No.
much.
No.
But it's just super cool to see where everything has come from and where it is now, and
Yeah.
like all the different crazy props and stuff you can make out of nothing.
Yeah.
Like I used to like before I started doing more professional type of costumes, like
Yeah.
the Superman ones,
Mhm.
which reminds me of what I forgot earlier. When I was Superman, the original Superman, blue one, was walking around, right, posing, found a couple Batmen that I was posing with, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, because people love doing that
Yeah.
shit, right? And I made it into what is that? Westward
Okay. Yeah.
with my costume. It was awesome because I was like posing there,
Yeah.
over the vent, so my cape was like,
Yeah, going
it was,
up,
it was
yeah.
awesome, right? But one of the best pictures I ever took though, and I can't remember if it was just a random photographer or what. I was just kind of looking at the camera though. You could see every detail of everything I painted in that armor and that suit.
Dang.
It was amazing, and I have never looked that good in my life since then.
We will have to put some pictures on so everybody can see that.
Yeah, absolutely. I
for
have
sure.
them too, so we'll definitely throw them
Yeah.
on there. But that was super cool. But yeah, I forgot what I was talking about.
Sorry, it's all good. You just got lost.
Yeah.
Got lost in a
God,
superhero
costumes are super fun, man. I love
Yeah.
doing stuff like that, especially because it's just like even after the Spectrum show,
Yeah.
one of our classmates,
Mm-hmm.
his nephew was there, little boy, and I remember him hearing, because me and him didn't get along around then,
Yeah.
right? Or like we didn't really know each
Yeah.
other. His nephew's talking to him. He goes, "Yeah, I bet we can get you to meet Superman." And I remember he comes up to me, and I talked to him for a few minutes or whatever. He's like, "Hey, thanks for doing that." Yeah, no worries. And that's like the first time we had like conversed or anything like that. But I
something
was
like
like,
that.
"That's really cool." And it's really cool to. That's one of my favorite parts is seeing like the way the kids and people react
Yeah.
to a superhero like that, especially such an iconic one.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, man, because I can see all the flaws in my costumes. I can see every single flaw.
Yeah, of
We're our own
course.
worst critic.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It happens all the time.
Right.
Every single time.
But then I'm like, okay, the kid's like, yeah, cool. And I was like, wow. He sees me as Superman, not as like a guy dressing up as Superman. Or like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's not right, or that's weird, or that's different. And he's like, he sees the S, he sees the cape, he sees the curl.
Yeah.
He's like, boom, that's
Boom,
Superman. I was
that's
like,
Superman.
that's super cool. Super.
Super.
Too many supers.
No.
It's awesome though, but dude, like,
Man.
Yeah,
You gotta get into it.
there's been some awesome adventures as far as the nerd realm goes.
Yeah.
You're doing that forever, man. Even nowadays too, like, me and coworkers will talk. We usually talk about games, and because game development, obviously, but talk about games or like the Marvel movies coming out. Like, well, what about this? Or when did this happen? Or like the new Dragon Ball movie came out.
Oh yeah.
Like, well, did this happen before, or why did this happen? And most of my friends usually come to me and ask that because I dive so much into that stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, because this, and that, or whatever. But, or I'm not actually sure. Like, that's kind of weird. But I mean, talk about a comic book collection. I can open my own comic book store with how many I have.
I'm pretty sure you could.
I have a really good old friend. His name's Tim. I used to work in a little. I used to manage a bunch of delis around here, around town, and one of the ones I used to manage was it was down in like the tech center.
Okay, yeah.
And he used to come in there for lunch every single day, right? We would talk and we nerd out, and we became really good friends. And for Christmas one year, he goes, "Hey, you get your car here, right?" I was like, "Yeah, how else do you think I got to work?" He's like, your guy okay if he covers you for a second? I was like, "Yeah, why?" He's like, "I need you to bring your car." I was like, "All right, sure." So I grabbed my keys, thought something was wrong, pulled up to his car, whatever. He goes, I brought you something."
Oh gosh.
He's like, "Me and my parents found it in our storage unit, and it's just been collecting dust, and I thought I wanted you to have it because you'd be the best person to have it." I was like, "Okay." He opens up his trunk. He has the storage bin, like one of those big plastic lock like storage bins.
Dang.
Huge one, right?
Yeah.
It took both of us to lift it out there. It was freaking heavy. I was like, "What is this?" He goes, "Open it." So I popped the lid open, full to the brim with comic books.
No way.
I tried to count them once. I got maybe a fifth, maybe a quarter of the way through. I was already at 2,000.
Jeez. God.
Old school ones. You got X-Men, Spider-Man, all kinds of stuff. And that's on top of the collection I already have.
Yeah.
Like, I had a ton
Already,
already.
yeah.
But he gave me that one year. I was like, holy crap. And it was just like amazing. We cataloged every single one of those damn things. But I never ended up counting all of them. I should probably look at the program if I still have it, the ones that we put it in, because it was like a computer system.
Dang.
Dude.
That's intense.
I got a ton. I got too many.
Yeah, too many.
But that's what I want to set up, though, is like when we do end up getting our house, stuff like that, I want to set up a room like that where you can play games or nerd out or have all the comic, but set it up like you can just open the drawer and it'll be alphabetical by whatever chapter or whatever the kind of thing is. Because there's a run of Iron Man that went from issue 1 to 100, like or past it. I have every single one in that entire issue.
Wow.
I bought it from a cheap little comic book store down in my hometown. Everything was $1.
Oh, what?
He had the entire collection. And I was like, I don't know if I want to spend like over $100 on this.
Yeah.
I was like, I really kind of just want this one. He's like, well, I don't want to break the collection. So here, I'll tell you what, make you a deal. I'll make every one of them 50 cents.
Oh.
I was like,
Now you're making it really hard.
yeah. And my ex was just like, you can't pass that up. I'm like, I know. And it's Iron Man. It's my favorite.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, cool. I'll take it. I think I ended up giving him like 20 extra bucks just because I'm like, cool, awesome. Like,
dang,
it's hard to run a comic shop, like, especially like that.
Honestly.
So I'm like, yeah, cool. So I ended up getting that, and just all kinds of cool ones. So I want to set up like my own little library.
Yeah.
It'd be really cool. That and music and all kinds of good stuff.
Yeah.
Games galore, man. I like that they're all digital. Like, that helps a lot. Just you can keep them all in one spot rather than having all kinds of discs, which I miss having.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's super cool. So similar to how you nerded out with your bands, like I've done it in multiple different aspects.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
But it's crazy, and it's just nuts to see like how we used to celebrate and hang out and nerd out, like even back then compared to now. How like Fortnite's a crazy thing, and all these
started, man.
like even like games in general.
Yeah.
The evolution of games, which we can totally get on that, like a whole topic on its own.
Yeah.
But like when you bought a game back in the day, you're like, okay, like, for example, a fighting game, old school Mortal Kombat.
Oh, yeah.
All right, cool. I got these characters. I beat the story. Unlock a new character. Cool.
Yeah.
Or find cheat codes.
Oh yeah.
To help you unlock that.
Cheat codes were the
Or my
best.
favorite, which I think was, I want to say it was Mortal Kombat 4. I think that was the 64 version. It was 3 or 4. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it was
one
4.
of those.
But it was on the N64. You could pick the hidden cursor, so to turn your cursor off. And then you can use you remember the little yellow arrows on the N64 controller?
Yeah.
You can use those if you started on, I think it was rain, and you went up 2, over 1, down 1A, you would unlock Goro as a playable character. I'm like, I miss those.
Oh, yes.
Nowadays, all it is microtransactions,
Yes.
pre-order broken games.
Yeah, and it's terrible, man. I remember specifically going online and having to print out, not just look at it. You would print it out. You would keep it. I literally had folders just for sheets of codes,
Cheat codes?
Oh yeah,
We used to Grand Theft Auto was a big one.
Oh,
It
yeah.
had so many cheat
Oh,
codes.
yeah.
We used to print them out, but then we were like, whatever. We only wanted there was only a certain amount that we
Yeah.
actually wanted to use.
and you memorize them.
Oh
too.
yeah,
Oh,
to
yeah.
use them so much, right? So we wrote them down. We would stick them in the game cartridge, in the the little foldy little
Oh,
thing that
yeah,
hold
yeah.
the disc. We'd put it in there. It was never forget them.
Yep.
Dance Dance Revolution was one of them to unlock all songs.
Oh,
Rock Band
yeah.
to unlock
Yeah.
all songs. And then it was instant money, summoning tanks, and any weapon you wanted for Grand Theft Auto.
Yep. I remember those.
They were great. Man, I miss cheat codes so much. And I
Yeah.
mean, Steve even pushed us to throw cheat codes into our game because
Yeah.
in reality, cheat codes are just to help the developer develop games quicker and better.
Yeah. Hello, dog.
Quicker and better when you're in the development process, but then most people would find them out later on, and
Yeah.
that was it, right?
Yeah.
But which makes total sense, but they're so cool still, though.
They really are. Man. Take me back to the day.
Yeah, I miss cheat codes. I miss completed games.
Honestly.
I miss fully built
Yeah.
games, and when you
Now
bought it,
it's
you're
just
all
try
right.
our beta that we only been working out for so much because we only have so much time. So
Yeah.
here you go, and then we'll put more later because we can. They have the ability to, but doesn't really mean that they should.
That, or I don't know if it's studio involvement or what. It probably is.
Yeah.
But the other aspect of it was, now we'll make that part DLC so we can make more money.
Yeah.
Which, okay, I get it as far as a financial
Yeah.
point where you're yeah, you want to get as much out of it as possible
Yeah.
so your business can make as much money as possible. But God, it's just
Yeah.
all right, I'm selling you a pizza. I was you could pay for the pizza before I deliver it. Right? So there's the pre-order.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, all right, no big deal. So, all right, here's half your pizza.
Yeah.
Half?
I
Oh,
paid. Yeah.
We'll send an update out to give you the next 2 slices.
Yeah.
You're okay, well, where's the other 2? I was oh, those are DLC later. You can pay $5 extra to get the next 2 slices.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, yeah.
So I'm just wow, it's getting out of hand.
It really is. Yeah.
I tried the Anthem demo.
Did you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I did the VIP.
Yeah. I know you like the Iron Man feel.
Dude.
of-
Well, yeah, I mean, we just
Yeah.
finished talking about him. But yeah, so I'm being in this is such an emotional topic. Being in game development, we learn a lot of stuff behind the scenes. So I'm okay, I
Yeah.
get it, I
Oh, yeah.
understand. But it makes me more critical of games,
Yeah.
which I already was.
Yeah.
It makes me more critical of games, not judgmental, but more
Yeah.
come on, guys, you can do better than
Exactly.
that.
Yeah.
And
I know
so
what you mean.
I hate pre-ordering games because every single time I've done it, it's been a broken game. And I had to
Yep.
wait for an update, a patch, a fix, and there's
Yep.
day 1 patches.
Yep.
Why
Yep.
do you have a day 1 patch? Like in a perfect world, it should be ready to go.
Yeah.
You bought the game, play the game.
Play the game right
Cool,
there.
this is amazing. This is awesome. Or if you
Exactly.
hate the game, it's because you hate the game, not because it's buggy or broken
Yeah.
or whatever,
Exactly.
right? So that's one thing that I get fired up about. But then doing demos, I'm all right, I'll try a demo. And no, I'm not expecting much out of a demo. And then the other thing is how close to launch when I buy it, if it's crap or good, and how far after launch should I buy it if it's crap or good. Because I mean,
Yeah.
this has been out for 2 years. Why is
Yeah.
this still?
And that's another thing too. Back then, you couldn't really rely on other people's review. I mean, now we have streamers just playing nonstop, and you'd be okay, I can look on your stream and be I don't like it. just because of that reason, and you don't buy it.
Yeah.
Back then, like, you bought it and you made your decision on your own.
Yeah.
And
Exactly. Like they had, they still have Game Informer around, but you remember you used to be able to
Yeah.
buy like the booklets that
Oh,
used to
yes.
teach you how to like Pokemon booklet.
Yep.
Here's what the map looks like, and I remember I
Mhm.
bought my first one, and I was like, that's what the cave system looks like, because you
Yep.
never actually saw the whole thing.
yeah.
You just saw a little tiny
yeah,
square, and it would
yeah.
adjust as you moved.
Yep.
But then you saw the full picture, you're like, oh,
That make-
I
yeah,
know why I
yeah.
got lost now. That was always cool. Yeah, it's just when I tried the Anthem demo, I was really skeptical. AAA games
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
been so crap lately,
They really have.
and so I usually stay away. And I love indie games, so I'm usually like, I want
Yeah.
to play some indie games. They're
Yeah.
usually cheaper. They're usually more fun,
Oh yeah.
and
They're
usually
really
multiplayer.
fun. Remember how we were talking about Human Fall Flat?
Mhm.
I actually brought it up to my friends not too long ago. It was like last weekend, and I was like, "What about Human Fall Flat?" Because we were just trying to find a game to play. They're like, "We haven't played in a long time. Let's play it." We had the most fun that we've ever had, like,
Dude.
in a long time. Because like one of my friends was like making a challenge, making the puzzle even more challenging because he was like trying to resist us
You like
continuing.
everyone trying to move the thing. He's like, trying to pull.
he pulls it back and he like grabs on the ground or something like that. But he made it like even more fun. Like we found ways like to go beyond that because the indie games, like, they're complete. They're like,
Right.
Yeah.
And me and my buddy found that a lot of the games that me and him like to play, usually end up being indie games.
yeah,
And we end up usually like laughing our asses off, just like, oh my gosh, like, what are you doing? I
Yeah.
don't know what I'm doing.
Oh,
What are my
Oh,
arms
yeah.
doing?
yeah. And that's great now too because you can now screen record and you can even record voices too.
Yeah,
Like, I
and
love
I
that
do
now.
that
Yeah.
so much.
Oh, yeah.
Like I'm like, that was awesome, and I'll hit record or I'll hit save.
Yeah.
And it saves the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Or whatever you set it to.
Yeah.
I have mine set to 10, and I'm like, perfect. 'Cause
Dang.
you never know. Sometimes I don't want to record the whole thing because
Yeah.
maybe it's just crap and I have to delete it, and that's extra work.
Edit and
right?
everything, yeah.
You're right. Sometimes, like the Anthem demo, for example, I'm like, all right, and you can see it, and I think I showed you the video too, where I'm like, all right. The whole thing, it looks amazing because I'm like, that's a freaking Iron Man suit. I've always wanted an amazing Iron Man game. So I'm like, I'm going to turn that into an Iron Man suit.
Yeah.
And the customization is there. Like,
Yeah.
I made the Iron Man suit. I made the suitcase version one.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
it's like silver and then red.
Yep,
I made that one.
yeah.
And it satisfied my itch for that Iron Man suit.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay. And I told myself, like, I'm not going to look at any of the instructions. The demo didn't really come with tutorials, which is
Yeah.
great. But I'm like, I'm going to learn to fly on my own.
Yeah.
And so it's basically like even Tony Stark said it to Jarvis when he was testing it. It's like sometimes you gotta run before you can walk.
Yep.
And I'm like thinking basically the same thing. I'm like, all right, I know how to move, so I'm like moving around. I'm
Yeah.
like, shift is normally sprint, so I
Yeah.
tried shift and he
Dang.
starts running. I was like, cool. So I stopped. I'm like, space is normally jump, so I hit it. He jumps up. I'm like, cool. All right, so I got into I spawned on this really tall like robot base thing. And I'm like, all right. I was like, what do I do now? Let me try to free fall. So I double jumped,
Yeah.
fell off. I'm like, okay, landed, no damage. I'm like, perfect, cool.
Okay.
Now I know I don't take
Yeah.
damage. So I tried to double jump, couldn't get back up. So I'm like, screw it, let's see if I get a running start. So I ran and I jumped and I happened to hit sprint again and boom, boosters.
Dang.
Started flying. I'm like, holy crap. Trying to figure out how to control the damn thing. And like,
Yeah.
because we were looking at the settings earlier and it was like, you have settings for like mouse control for aiming, mouse control for flying, mouse control for swimming.
Oh, wow.
Like, it was like, why are there so many options?
Dang.
Found out why.
Yeah.
Dude. And I just flew around, just flew and flew.
Dang.
I would get overheated, so I'd fly near water
Yeah.
to cool me down or land in the water. I was like, this is cool. My buddy was having trouble logging in, which a lot of people had a lot of trouble logging in.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But he's like, so what do you think? I'm like, dude, he's like, how's the flying? Because we heard it was weird.
Yeah.
How's the flying? I'm like, this is everything I've ever wanted in an Iron Man game. That was the words I told him. He goes,
Yeah.
oh my God, that must be awesome. I'm like, this is everything I've ever wanted in an Iron Man game. Because he just goes, you can feel it. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, it was so cool. So I love that part. The customization was great. And the demo actually gave you 3 chapters out of the actual story.
Oh, wow.
And they were great.
Wow.
I love the the character Matthias, I believe is how you pronounce his name, right? Come across him like, oh, like his look, I'm like I'm gonna hate this guy. He was super funny. I laughed a lot. He came across this thing called the manifold, I believe is what it's called, and he's like, and hit the button. What's happening? Why did nothing happen? He's like, hold on. I know a technique that's true and true. Spoilers, by the way, for anybody who hasn't actually played the demo yet. Sorry. He's like, I got a technique. It's true and true. Always works every single time. So he climbs back on the ladder looking at this manifold, which is supposed to be super powerful, super deadly, and very fragile. Right? That's what we were told. That's when we collected it. Everything like that. He picks it up. He looks at it. He was turning knobs beforehand, but he picks it up this time. And he goes, bam! And slams it on the thing, and it turns on. He's like, whoa, that was weird. And you hear, yeah, that was weird. We're like, what? It split him into 3 people, each one with its own personality.
That's
so like this one was super like smart, but kind of shy. That one was super angry and aggressive, and the other one was just like kind of just neutral.
Wow.
I was like, what is happening? We're like, oh, great. So the next 2 chapters trying to figure out what is happening and how to help him. Those 3 chapters alone sold me the story.
Wow.
I'm like, this is going to be great. If it's anything like those 3 chapters, I'm like, I'm going to love this, which makes me super nervous because I hope it's just as good as those 3 chapters.
Yeah.
But dude, I fell in love with that character. He was so freaking funny because he split into 3. So they're like, Matthias. Like, I'm Matthias. We're all Matthias. He's like, all right. Let's try something else. So he's like, I'll be Maddie, which is first name.
Yeah.
And the next one was the middle name, and then they went by the last name. Like,
yeah.
I was like, that's
like that. Yeah.
super freaking cool. But it was cool. There were problems. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It's a demo.
It's a demo. Yeah. Beta.
And it's not even released yet. I already expect it.
Yeah.
But for what it was, and for it being a AAA, it was fun.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed it because the suit,
Yeah.
the detail, the suit, and that one NPC.
Yeah.
The other NPCs were good too, like the ones you were talking with and stuff. But him, Matthias himself, dude, was so
Sold it.
funny. And I hated him at first. I'm like, oh, just because I completely judged him by his looks.
Way to
I was
go.
like, oh, great. Like, he sounds like he's gonna be dumb, but he'd actually be like, not just dumb, but like super intelligent.
Yeah.
And really fun. Like, just a cool character. But
Dang.
I'm excited for it. Overall, I won't get it during lunch.
Yeah.
I won't. I'm not going to pre-order it. I'm not going to get it during lunch. Open demo for anybody who wants to play it. Open demo is this coming weekend, which is the first weekend in February.
Second, third, I think.
Second, third, and fourth, something like that.
Yeah. Or
First, second,
Friday is the first.
First, second, and third, I guess. Yeah. So it's the first weekend in February is open demo, so anyone's able to play it.
Yeah.
So I recommend anybody. I recommend you too because it's on all consoles. Download it, try it out, see what you think.
For
like,
sure.
There'll probably be some server issues like it was before because
Yeah.
it's going to be more players than it even was for this.
Yeah.
But just if you get a chance to even play it for 10, 15, 30 minutes,
Yeah.
because there's 3 modes you can play. You can do Stronghold, which is fighting the fort, the story, or free play. Jump into free play, see the world,
Yeah.
learn to fly.
Yeah.
The other cool part is that the suits are called javelins, which I think is cool.
Yeah.
And there's 4 classes. So the one you start with is the Ranger. That's the one I was most interested in because it was the closest to Iron Man.
Yeah.
That's literally the only reason. I was like, that's the one I want. In the demo, you start with that. Everyone starts with that, and you unlock one other javelin of your choice. I was like, cool.
Alright.
Because at first we were thinking like, okay, you get one other one, the Colossus, which is the big, huge tank one.
Yeah,
right?
tank.
It was like, no. You get to unlock one extra, but you get to pick which one it is. We're like, oh, cool. So my buddy unlocked Colossus. I wanted to do that because I want to make a Hulkbuster. First off.
Yeah.
He's cool. He's
Yeah.
huge. He's so strong. He's the only one that can carry miniguns and like stuff like that.
Yeah.
But he picked that, so then I picked the Storm, which is like the magic user one. It was super cool. The other one is called the Interceptor. It's basically like a spy or ninja. So the armor and the health are super weak. It's super
But it's
fast
super
and has
quick,
a lot of good
yeah.
melee.
Yeah, I bet.
So they're all pretty diverse. The Ranger you start with is the most balanced.
That's cool.
So it's good. It's cool. I recommend
Sounds
it.
interesting. Yeah.
I'll wait until after launch and a couple patches come out or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I'm not in a rush to buy it, but I'm definitely gonna buy it.
Yeah. I'll have to check it out when it comes out. Open demo.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. That was as far as gaming pop culture lately. I've been wanting to play Red Dead. I haven't played Red Dead.
Yeah.
Or
I
Spider-Man.
played it. Yeah. Both of those you'll have to play.
Yeah.
Just the Red Dead, it's failing on the online division. Like,
And it makes sense why too.
Yeah.
I was watching it, following it, and people are just people.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
I mean-
And Red Dead is great for its story.
Oh yeah. It was great. The story was amazing.
Right. I want to buy that for
Yeah.
my dad.
Yeah.
He likes cowboys a lot. Like
Oh,
John
yeah.
Wayne's like his guy.
Yeah. Westerns.
But I want to get him. I want to get him Red Dead so he can play it because I think he'll love it. And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
cool that the second one is prequel,
Yeah. I thought that was
so
interesting.
he doesn't have to go back and play the first game to understand the second
Yeah.
one. So I'm like, cool, awesome. So I can get him that. It's the updated one. He needs a new game system anyway. That and I want to play Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I've always liked Spider-Man games.
Like Ellis was explaining the other day, like once you get to swing and used to everything and his fighting combos and everything, like you really start to feel like you were actually Spider-Man, like you're beating up all these guys.
Right. The suits
Yeah.
look good too.
Oh yeah, all the suits are very fun. Like they're very rewarding because you have to earn them, of course.
Yeah.
And that's the way it should be.
There's
But-
so much in that game
Yeah.
too. There's like all of his backpacks, which
Yeah.
genius
Yeah.
on game developers' point.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, how do you think he changes into his suit randomly?
Yeah.
He's like, it's in his backpack. He switches it. He webs his thing up. He forgets about it.
Exactly. Buy another backpack.
So then you find them in the world. I'm like, that is freaking
Yeah.
genius. So that's super cool.
Yeah.
Man, and I love. So like I said, my favorite type of games are indie games, as far as digital ones go.
Yeah.
But first player ones are amazing because the story can be so good and so great. Darksiders, dude. That's my freaking series. I love anything to do with Four Horsemen.
Yeah.
That one's cool. I even got my boss at work to play it.
Really?
So he's we have so much in common, which is really cool. He's a cool dude. He's a musician. He went touring for a long time. He plays games, that kind of cool stuff.
Yeah.
But he was running out of games to play, and I was like, you know what game I really like? It's like one of my favorite series. He's like, what? It's like Darksiders. He goes, really? So, yeah, you ever play it? He's like, no, I've heard of it. I'm like, if you get a chance to check out the first one, because it's been out for a while, so you
Yeah.
probably get it cheap. It's like, play it. I guarantee you, like, there's a War Mastered edition, so it's updated. I was like, try it, check it out. And so he comes back like a week or two later. He goes, so I'm playing Darksiders. I'm like, what? He's like,
Yeah.
I was like, and? He goes, and I freaking love it. He absolutely loved it. And he came up to me, I believe it was yesterday, and said he beat it, the first game. He's like, it's
Wow.
not super long, but it's not super short, and I still feel like I'm playing it like an RPG because he
Yeah.
likes RPGs.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's cool because sometimes I get burnt out. I was like, yeah. It's like, it's just a really good like overall game.
Yeah.
So now he's deciding if he wants to play a different type of game or if he's going to play Darksiders 2.
Dang.
So I told him the third one's out, which I still need to play.
Play that second one.
Play it. But it's great. Like Darksiders is cool. Like the lore in it and stuff like that. Like we've been speculating for years on like what exactly is happening, all this good stuff, and to see the third Horseman finally,
Yeah.
like
Come out. Yeah.
can't wait, dude. Can't wait. But the other aspect of social media we haven't hit yet.
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram.
Man, started with MySpace, man. All the way back to MySpace. Do you remember that? I actually saw, I mean, of course it's a meme, but like somebody posting something about I should have like music on my Twitter feed or my Twitter page or whatever, so that if anybody wants to visit my page, they'll listen to music. And somebody commented, man, this generation doesn't know about MySpace.
Yes, I saw
Yeah.
that post. Oh my god, MySpace used to be like the
yeah.
thing.
Oh,
It
yeah.
came out. You had and the coolest part about it was that it taught basic people like
Yeah.
basic coding.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like,
It-
yeah, I want this to be on there. Like, how do I do this? And like,
Yeah.
here, HTML.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
Yep.
gosh, that was cool. You used to have cool background. You used to have a playlist of songs.
And
Most people
then-
put them on loop, and it sucked.
Oh yeah, and then you would have these long pages where you'd scroll down,
Scroll. Yep, it was so good. Oh my
Yeah.
god, MySpace.
and then along came Facebook, and
Right? Do you remember when
Twitter.
Facebook started taking over?
I'm not sure exactly when, but I
But do you
know-
remember when it
Oh
was
yeah,
like?
oh yeah,
So, I have some funny stories about that. It was Facebook came out, And like everyone around me that was on MySpace, with all my friends, right?
Yeah.
All of our parents were on Facebook.
Yeah.
Because first off, it started off for college, right?
Yeah.
That kind of thing, and then it grew into a bigger thing. And then the best part about it was that our parents started doing Facebook. It was like generic MySpace,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And we used to call it old people or old person MySpace.
Yep.
And we were just like, oh my gosh, like we're never gonna get into this. And then I was, so I started college my sophomore year of high school, and around my senior year, I transferred to the university down there, and one of my teachers was like, we're gonna use this program to do all of our discussions, and it was Facebook.
No way.
Yes.
Wow.
And it's crazy to think of nowadays, but our teacher's like, we're gonna use Facebook to chat, and I was like, I hated it because I had to make a Facebook.
Yeah. You
and
had to
all that
become that
stuff.
old person that you were talking about.
Right, and I'm like, God, and I had to learn it. I was like, this is dumb. It's so bland and boring.
Yeah.
And so I had to learn it, and then that's how I ended up getting my points for that class. I don't remember what class it was. But yeah, we did our discussions through Facebook, and it was crazy.
That's great. Yeah, that is
And
fun.
now look at what it is. Like,
Yeah.
can you imagine? Like, no teacher would be like, yeah, get on Facebook to do this.
Yeah.
Like, it's more so like, get off of Facebook.
Yeah, honestly.
It's crazy how far that has come. But even Instagram, Snapchat. What's that app you were talking about? Is it like TikTok or something?
TikTok. Don't get me started, man. Wait, do you remember the app called Musical.ly? It was like music and then or something and then .ly.
I remember of it. I don't think I ever actually
It was
looked
just
into
basically
it.
like you would video like basically like a cover song or like something like that. Basically what they did is that when that died, they switched the name, TikTok, and marketed the crap out of it. And now it is what it is today. And like you see ads everywhere for TikTok. TikTok this, TikTok that, and they're so cringy. I hate looking at them.
They're awful.
They're
I looked at one.
Yeah.
One before, and all the ads are everywhere on my computer now. Like, oh my God. Like some of them I'm just like, stop.
Yeah.
I don't stop.
And they're super repetitive too because they're the same ads every single time.
Yep.
But yeah, it's the same app as Musical.ly, and I wasn't really a fan of it then. But now it's even worse because like it's a trend now, and like I'm not sure if it's like just me getting older and hating like the younger generation, the new kids stuff. But I mean,
I never really like Snapchat that much either. But that was just me. Like I got into it for a little while. I'm like, it's kind of boring.
Yeah, I mean, I
wasn't using it for like what everybody else was.
I just send it for like stupid videos that I take to my brother or something like that. Just hey, check
like
this out.
Taking random pictures of yourself.
Yeah, just, or not myself, but just like check this.
Sure.
Yeah, all right.
But dang, yeah, like I hate being on social media, honestly.
Yeah.
And I'm only on Facebook now because it's a lot of good contacts.
Yeah.
Networking. And I'm helping. Networking, and I'm helping. There's a nonprofit that me and my family have been working with and helping and running and all this stuff forever.
Yeah.
Down my hometown and stuff, and getting them out of the Stone Age into there. So I'm running the Facebook page, that kind of stuff for that, and that's a big reason why I keep it still. But God, I want to delete Facebook every single day. But one thing I do like, I like Instagram. I hate what it's become.
Yes.
I used to like old Instagram.
Yeah, old Instagram used to be really good, and you would take pictures of something, caption it, and the captions got more intricate, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
And now it's like all about Instagram models and Instagram captions. It's like too much.
Yeah,
like,
Snapchat came out, and that changed Instagram a lot.
Yeah, that did too.
Too like that. Like even I think I was mentioning to you have you ever heard of the term thought audit? So, our podcast, Thoughts on Thoughts, started off as a joke with Ellis.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was Thoughts on Thoughts, which, for anybody who doesn't know, THOTS stands for that hoe over there.
Yeah.
And that was what the joke was. But I'm like, that's a really catchy term. I like that. But I want to make it like the intellectual version of it.
Thoughts. Yeah.
Right. And so I was following this whole story, and it's still kind of happening too, but it was called the thought audit. And what it was is that people were getting mad at all these Instagram models and people who have their private Snapchats and stuff that would charge you money for and stuff like that. They were turning them into the IRS.
Oh yes, I've seen that. I didn't know it was called that, but
School of
yeah.
Thought Audit.
Oh yeah.
And so these dudes or guys or whoever really
Mhm.
were like getting upset with all this stuff, like, or just in general, they
Yeah.
were all turning them into the IRS. So the
Oh,
IRS
yeah.
was getting an influx of people to check out, and of course they're making money and not paying taxes on it.
Mhm.
And so they're getting dinged. And so
Yep.
like the whole thing started where they're like, "Don't report me to the IRS. Don't report." Like there was like doing that. I was like, "That's still freaking illegal."
Yeah, honestly, like, don't turn me in for
Right.
evading something
Yeah, like,
or
"Oh, bidders,
unlawful.
man, they're
Yeah.
trying to turn me in." I was like, "Well, have you been paying?"
Yeah.
Because all of us are.
Yep.
But I thought that was super funny. So I was following that story for a while, and I check up on it every now and then, see what's
That's
going on. Same old crap.
Yeah.
But that's super funny. But that's like a side effect of
Yeah.
social media and the way it's going, and
Yeah.
just in general.
And, like-
we get info so quickly.
It really, yeah, almost too quickly, honestly. And like, I think the first thing that we see, I think we believe, and that's where all this fake news and everything. I mean, you can make fun of Trump all day long for saying fake news, but I mean, honestly, I mean, even that. I'm sure you saw that video of the group of. I guess high school students, and then this
Yeah.
Did you see the whole story though?
Was there a video or was it like an article? Because I read an article.
Yeah, I mean, there's of course the video went viral first, and then articles and showing the actual full video of that guy actually going to them, but media, social media, and
Yeah,
everything.
I do remember.
Yeah,
I remember hearing about
they
that.
twisted that. So I mean, it's really bad, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember I read an article on it when it first happened. I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah.
And then more was coming out about it. And then I do remember seeing a video
Yeah.
too, because it was like they were waiting for a bus or something, weren't they?
Something like
they were like
that,
doing something,
yeah.
anything out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
But it was just that whole thing was crazy. Everything's crazy nowadays. We get information too instantaneous nowadays that most people too like the world isn't perfect.
No.
It's a dangerous place. It
Yeah.
has been forever. It has always been. Some things have changed, which makes it seem. Some things have changed that make it a little bit more dangerous, but not like all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Like it's always
It's-
been there.
it's
But
evolving.
the fact that we
Yeah.
get information so quick out of pretty much anything. Every phone has a camera now.
Yep.
Like how instant stuff is. So everything is so instant to us. We're like, oh my gosh. Like,
Yeah.
We immediately are just like,
I mean, news. I mean, we get, I guess, turned on to news because it's something new. It's something you don't know, and you want to be interested.
yeah, what else is happening over there?
Yeah,
What else
what's
here?
over there? Like, you want to be a nosy Nelly. And, yeah, and
It's true though.
Yeah,
It's true, but it's crazy. So that's a big reason why I want to get off social media for sure.
honestly, like I thought about it so many times. Just
Right.
quit it all. I mean, if I want to come back, I can just deactivate it and
Right.
come back to it later. But
Well, that's so, which is funny because that leads us kind of back to what we started talking about. But that like pop culture stuff is being influenced so much by this need for instant gratification and news and information that like even like the SJWs, the social justice warriors, right? If they don't like something they see, then they post about it and it's instant, boom,
Yep.
and then somebody comments instantly,
Yep.
commenting or fighting or defending it or
Yep.
whatever, regardless of what it is, right? Like even like the Dragon Ball movie came out and they're like, oh, like they're angry because of this or they're angry
Yeah.
because of that, or people are like, well, those people are dumb because like they're just immediately
Yeah.
wanting to argue and fight, and everyone's
exactly.
like keyboard warriors. Like,
Yep. Oh yeah.
it's crazy.
That-
Nobody, and one of my favorite quotes is that nobody ever listens to understand. Everyone always listens to respond.
that's true.
And I love that quote. And I constantly try to like abide by that,
Yeah.
especially when people are talking. I try to, especially when it's like a situation or whatever, I try to listen to understand rather than to constantly like,
blurt, yeah.
but.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's like, no, it's not going to help anything.
No,
Like,
not at all.
why are we even communicating anyway in the first place
Yeah.
if I don't care what you're going to say anyway?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of like arguments in general can be not necessarily solved, but lessened if everyone was just to listen to understand
Yeah.
instead of just to immediately respond.
And it's so stupid how people take it to heart so much, and like you can't even slip up anymore without
Right. Or joke.
Yeah, you can't even joke either. Like
Right.
some memes, like
Back in the day, that used to be called a joke.
Exactly. But now it's just like people are too touchy.
Right.
They're
That's what that which is funny. It leads me back to Comic-Con. I think that's why I like hanging out with that type of people, because we're all there for a common goal, and that's just to celebrate our nerdiness.
Exactly. Yeah.
Regardless of how nerdy you are or how much you want to show of it. It's just like, this is fun. This is cool. Like, sure, if you want it to be a second Halloween, dress up every single day if you went. Second, third, fourth Halloween. That's what we consider it.
Yeah.
But it's cool, and like stuff like that, like little tidbits like that is what makes everything else better. Because you're just like, yeah, cool, I get this moment of peace.
Yeah.
Like something I super enjoy a lot.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's awesome. But
For sure.
yeah, so it's been nice talking to you, bud.
Yeah, it's been great. Honestly, it's been a lot of fun.
It's been awesome. I love doing this. This is fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It's a good topic too, because there's just a lot to
Exactly.
go off of,
Yeah.
which is great.